what is the most important and really vital skincare product you need to have during summer? It's of course SPF. And we are in the year 2023 and I wanted to share with you the highlights of this year in terms of sunscreens. So before we start, in case we haven't met before, I'm Anastasia, the founder of All You Can Face, and I'm passionate about teaching people how to exercise their facial muscles or massage them to become the best version of themselves. And of course, skincare, nutrition and wellness and lifestyle plays a role as well. So today we will discuss the best sunscreen for this year so you're equipped to have a glowing skin for long term. Let's start with sunscreens, which are a little bit on the thinner side and I think are amazing for everyday use from January till December, literally, because they're so thin on your skin that you basically don't feel them and still are protected for the entire day. And of course you need to reapply a little bit, but they are really like all SPFs 50 and protect you from UVA and UVB rays. So let's start. And these are these three SPFs. I put them in a category because they have a similar texture. The first one is from Beauty of Your Zeon. It's a very new formula and it's a sunscreen serum. Then we have, of course, our go-to and all-time favorite Biore UVA and UVB Aqua Reach sunscreen, which is a water essence. So it's very like an essence-y texture, which I will show you in a little bit. And then a new addition to the team is the Tokobo hyaluronic acid sunscreen, which is also amazing. And in terms of formulation and texture, let's have a look right now. So this is the Tokobo one. It applies very thinly onto the skin. It's almost very liquidy. You can see it already moves onto my hand. Second one is the new one by Beauty of Your Zeon, and it's the sunscreen serum, which is a little bit thinner and more see-through, still a little bit more stickier. And then lastly is the Watery Essence by Biore. You will see this is the most liquidy one, so it's the most thinnest texture. Then this one is a little bit on the thicker side by see-through, and then the Watery Essence almost like starts to drip as well. So in terms of like texture, you will see this will go pretty smoothly and goes into your skin very thin. So the Biore Water Essence SPF I would recommend for people who have oily skin because it has quite some alcohol in it. So it will potentially also a little bit dry out your skin, but for everyone who's on the oilier side, this is amazing. And then you have this one, which goes into your skin a little bit slower than the Watery Essence, but is also amazing. This one has hyaluronic acid, so this one is for people who are more on the drier side and still want this like thin texture. And then we have the last one, which is the serum, and it's literally a middle ground, so I would recommend it for both skin types. So this is our, so to speak, thinnest sunscreens out there, which I would recommend and really stand behind it. And before we go further, I wanted also to say I purchased all of these with my own money, so nothing is sponsored here. I use them personally on a daily basis and I also try and test them regularly, so I can be rest assured to really suggest you something I know it's working and also it's really proven to work through a longer period of time because I've tested it out. So now that we discussed the sun serums, essences and watery based sunscreens, so which are a little bit more on the thinner side, let's continue with the sunscreens. And I have two which are really recommendable. The one is also from Beauty of Your Zeon, and this one is the Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel by East Tree. I will link it also in the bio below. And in terms of the texture, they're both a little bit on the thicker side and still apply very nicely onto the skin. And these sunscreens are amazing for people who have normal skin or basically are also a little bit on the dehydrated side, because they almost function as a moisturizer, because they also protect your skin not only from the sun but also from transepidermal water loss. And you can see this one is a little bit thicker, but honestly, once you put it on, and it takes a little bit of time to get into the skin, you not only feel like that your skin is hydrated because of the hyaluronic acid, but also it gives you like this glowy sheen. So if you're into that, this is amazing. I honestly use this also on daily basis, and in fact I have this one on right now today. And now let's get to my new discovery actually of this year, and these are sun sticks. So this really is an amazing product for people who have oily skin or also are into primers, into a matte finish. So this is a matte sun stick, also by Beauty of Joseon, and honestly I fell in love with it. This is amazing to also use when you want to reapply sunscreen, because you can put it in your purse. It's always very sterile. I use usually a cotton pad or like a tissue to clean the upper surface, and then really go into my skin right away and reapply the sunscreen. And it gives you this really matte finish. You do not need to use powder, and you are literally protected. So this is really a revelation for me, and this is amazing for day-to-day use. Actually, I would not only use it on my own. I usually always use a Watery Essence SPF, which I showed you before, or like a normal sunscreen, and then I go in as a last step like this, because it is still on the thinner side, so we want to be protected 100%. So this is amazing to go in to mattify yourself, to reapply sunscreen, to even go in here to not get too greasy of a hairline and still be protected in this area right here. And then this one is the High SPF by Rudolph Care. I purchased it actually recently, and it's a pretty thick stick. And it's made out of completely natural ingredients, which is amazing. And it's a little bit more on the thicker side, so it's almost like a chapstick. But this thing is amazing for areas which you usually forget. For example, under the eyes, around the eyelids, around the lips and ears. And also maybe if you have scars on your body and you want to protect them. For example, me, I have one on my foot because I got burned in the beginning of the year. So I have like some burn marks, and in the sun they get of course worse. So if you have scarring or any bruises, this is amazing to not get hyperpigmentation, because it's a very thick layer of sunscreen. It's natural, and it really stays on for the entire day because it's so thick. So this is an amazing way for smaller areas which need especially big protection. And then almost lastly, let's get to my holy grail, which I already purchased since, I'm not even kidding, I think 8 years, which is the Broad Spectrum SPF by Alta MD. This is a tinted sunscreen, and it's a mineral sunscreen. Everything else was before chemical, which is also a little bit on the thinner side, but also if you are prone to acne and breakouts, this is the way to go. It dries out your skin a little bit, it mattifies it in the finish, and it gives you also like an even skin color without using foundation. So sometimes I use this on its own. It looks like this, and it really adapts to your skin type. Of course, if you're a little bit on the darker side, I'm not sure this is for you, but I have tested it out with a lot of friends who have different skin tones, and it's amazing. So it really blends into the skin. It almost feels like a nourishing foundation. Everything before had SPF 50, this one is 41, so the protection factor is a little bit less, so this needs to be reapplied a little bit more often. It's amazing for combination skin. And then lastly, I think this is also a new discovery of mine, which is the Hydrating Lip Balm by Ultraviolet, and it looks like this. I have it literally on my lips. It's like an amazing lip gloss. It's an amazing finish. It also hydrates and protects your skin on the lips, and we oftentimes forget the area. And I feel like also after summer I have pigmentation around here because I just sometimes eat something or I walk through my day, and then it's just like this area is neglected. So this is amazing because I naturally would use it as a chapstick, as a lip balm, as a lip gloss, and it has SPF 50 in it. So this is amazing, and I can only recommend it. And with that being said, I hope you're equipped and know a little bit what to use and which sunscreen could potentially work for you. Again, what works for my skin not necessarily works for yours, but I think out of those a bunch of sunscreens which I showed and shared, I think there's something for you. And most importantly, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you use one. And try to stay in the shade, try to use hats and sunglasses, because again, in summer the sun is the most strongest, and we want to protect our skin from premature aging, from all kinds of other skin diseases which we do not want. So with that being said, I wish you a wonderful summer. I hope you are equipped and protected, and I hope to see you also in the next video on YouTube. And if you're interested in becoming the best version of yourself, so make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and see you then. Mwah.